Hey guys, Jason here with Jason's Works. Wanted to do another video for you. This is pro tip number 20. This is how to resize a coin ring. So a very good skill to know. Actually, most jewelers don't know how to resize a coin ring because it's a seamless ring, and if you cut into it and solder, you'll break that detail. So really good skill to know, because if a customer gets a ring and it's not the right size, they have to get it resized, so they have to actually go to a coin ring maker. So really good skill set to have, and really important as a ring maker to verify the customer's ring size. And I made a mistake by not doing that, and it's come back to bite me. So I made a ring for somebody. They wanted a size 13.75. I assumed 0.75, that's very accurate, so I assumed that they got their finger sized, but turns out that wasn't the case, and they need it smaller. They need a 12.75. So yeah, really important to get the customer to get you that accurate information so that you don't have to resize the rings. I typically resize for free the first time, and then I'll start charging for it afterwards. But I've never had to do it more than once. So that's a really good, I think it's a good service to offer for your customers, to offer that free resize at least one time, and to cover the shipping expenses and all that. So I'll do a little unboxing. I got the package a little while ago, and we'll get this guy going here. So this is a Morgan dollar, and it's a little too big, like I had mentioned. Needs to come down at least one size. But now with the Morgan dollars, they fit a little big, so I'll typically make them a little bit smaller, like by a quarter size, or maybe a half size. Quarter size is usually good enough. They're just a big ring. They fit really big. That'll fit my middle finger. A little loose, but not bad. So we'll just double check. Yeah, so they had ordered a 13.75, and I made it. See if we can grab a capture here. There we go. I made it 13 and a half, so it fit a little bit better. And that's still too big, so we have to take it down a size. Now, for being too large, what I'll typically do is, you could do it with a 17 and 25 degree only, but what's going to happen is you're going to get it more of a fat tire look, and some people like that. But I typically make mine a little bit straighter wall, but just a little curve on the top and bottom, not so much of a fat tire. So I'm going to go through the process using the Swedish die, which is great for something like this. If you have to reduce it down, but you want to keep the initial shape of it and not adjust the shape to a more rounded fat tire look, or a synclastic look of a ring. If the ring was too small and has to be stretched out, that's no problem. You can just stretch it out on your ring stretcher past your target size. For $1, it'd be 2 to 3 sizes over for my look, and then I would reduce it down to the 17s and 25s. 17 first, and then 25 if I need it to finish it off. And it's also important to know if the ring is fully annealed or fully work hardened, or somewhere in between. The rings I make are typically close to fully annealed. They might be a little work hardened at the end, but with a 90% silver, 10% copper alloy, that's a very strong, hard metal. That's why jewelry is sterling at 92.5% silver, not pure silver. Pure silver is very soft. So if I were to make a ring out of pure silver or pure gold, I would make sure to work harden it as it's finished. So I typically just anneal, like a silver eagle, I'll just anneal it one time during the process, and then I'll make the ring, and it'll work harden, and by the end it'll be perfect. It'll be done. It'll be a nice hard silver ring. That way it won't wear as fast. So but something to consider. I'm going to attempt to resize this without annealing it. That way I'll be able to keep the patina and it'll just be a nice quick resize. So let's see. Ring size is important. Too small versus too big. Okay, so we're going to go to the Swedish wrap technique. And shout out to Mikhail Moeller. He came up with the idea of using Teflon tape wrapped around the ring to then reduce in a die. You want to make sure the dies are nice and clean. So I'll typically get that dust, any dust that's in there, out of there, because there's a very high polish on the inside, which is very important. Found on all the Jason's Works dies. And then coconut oil, just a simple coconut oil right here. That works really well. You don't need a whole lot. I probably got a little too much in there. But if you were to use a petroleum-based oil or lubricant, it would melt the Teflon. And the Teflon tape is actually a lubricant. That's why you use it on pipe threading. It's to cinch down the thread even tighter. So that's what we're using for the Swedish wrap technique. And it also compresses into the detail of the ring. So you get to save the date and all the different detail that's on the outside of the ring. And however small you go. Now the trick I like to do is I'll put the reed side, get a little closer here, I'll put the reed side to the back of my finger just so I know where it is. And then with the tape, I'll put it, let me rearrange it here. So I put my index finger through the hole, and then I have the tape on the back side of the roll right here. So it's facing away from me. And then I'll pinch it between my thumb and forefinger here. And then on a Morgan dollar, I'll go, I think, 10 times. And this is, let me stop, 3. This tape here is pretty thick. It's twice as thick, at least, than the standard tape. You'd have to go wrap it like 20 plus times with the thinner white tape. This is monster tape, blue monster tape. But you can use the pipe tape or the gas pipe tape. I like to use the thicker stuff because you don't have to wrap it as much. So there's 10 wraps. Just break it off. Then I'll usually roll it over the edges here, like so. Reed side is now facing me. I always keep track of that. And this is the dollar Swede die, 1.0, 1.4. So 1.0, 1 inch here, 1.4 inches here. There is one die larger than this that's good for Silver Eagles or challenge coins. So we'll set that in there. Now the trick here, what I like the Ross pusher. Shout out to a gentleman named Ross. He came up with this design idea. This is designed for light to medium pressing. I'll emphasize this, very important. So light to medium pressing. So you would use this Ross pusher in this die for this coin. So for dollar coins, these larger coins, great tool to have. If you were to fully extrude the ring out of the bottom of the die and then go to the next smaller die, this is the $half die. If you're making a really small Morgan dollar ring, you'd want to then switch over to the brass because it's going to take a lot more pressure, and you just need that the brass to hold up against that heavier pressure. So, but I typically use the Ross because, yeah, it's just fast, efficient, and works really well. If I am making a really small ring out of a really big coin, which isn't too common, then I'll switch over to the brass. So, and there's also witness lines on the Ross pusher and on the brass, so you can record what line at what size for what coin. So you can hit, if you want, you can hit that exact mark every time. I just do it by look and feel, but I just thought the witness lines would be nice to have on there. So, okay, so we've got this guy. So reed side, yep, okay, reed side facing down, because that's the side that I'm going to be sizing. I don't really care what the other side sizes at. And I like to use the arbor press for this, just because it has more room for everything. Now I know it's going to be compressing that Teflon tape first, and then it'll get to the silver. So kind of want to I feel the tape pressing down, and you'll notice I'll rotate the Ross pusher in between short presses. That way I'm moving the legs into different locations on the ring itself. So I'm just going to take it out there and see where we're at. So that's what it looks like. You can see how that Teflon compresses down. And here's a neat little trick here. If you grab a 25-degree die, I'm not even going to look at the size. If it fits, it'll work. So there we go. That one fits. Kind of. Let's see. Go a little bit bigger maybe. Yeah, that one's good. Just so you guys know, it's a 1.3 25-degree die. I like doing this. It cuts the tape. So I'm not actually reducing the ring at all. I'm just tapping it, and that look at that, that tape just falls off. And so that way you can get your ring sizer out, leave the Teflon tape on, and you can check it right there. So we're at 13.5, so we haven't even compressed the ring yet. We've only compressed the Teflon, so that's good. So we'll set that back in. Do this a little more. I want to go to, let me think, maybe probably a 13 or so. And then I'll finish on the 17 and or 25 if need be. So there's out 13.25. Go just a little more. Rotating that Ross pusher in between. So there's about almost 13. Go a little more. Okay. Okay, so there's 13 with that guy. Now I'm going to flip this over and just do a really light press on the cut side just to help even it up a little bit, just so it barely moves. And I'll look at how it compressed. Yeah, that looks good. I barely put any pressure on that. That looks really nice. So now I'm going to switch over to the 17s and 25s. Looking at the ring, I think I'll go 17 with that. Make sure and clean that die each time. Been really dusty here. Let's flip it over. That was a little too small, so I'll flip it over. It's a 17-degree die, 1.2. So that's a $50 size die, but we're reducing that ring to where we need to get it into the $50. All right, so actually on these I like to use the ring stretcher reducer. So I'm just going to shoot for that target size on the reed of 12.5. With a ring with a finger size of 12.75. But remember, the Morgan dollar fits a little big, so 12.5 is the actual target size. And just do it in small increments. So there's 12.75. Okay, I don't think I need the 25. I'm not getting into any of the detail at all. With the 17, I still got a little bit more room on the dentals. Those are little teeth-looking things. So I can stay with the 17 and still get my finished shape and size while keeping all the detail. So there's 12.5 right there. So we nailed it. And so now what I'm doing is looking at the cut side to see how it matches the curvature of the reed side. And I'm going to use the 25 degree to just fold that lip over on the edge. And that fits, so it's going to work. Just so you know, it's 1.3. Tap it to level it all out, and very light press. That handle extension is really nice with these larger silver dollar coins. That looks perfect. So there we go, resized Morgan dollar from a 13 3/4 down to a 12 3/4, but sized to a 12.5 exact measurement to correctly fit the 12.75 finger. So, and that's how I do it. So no annealing. If the coin is annealed already, finished, or even like a half anneal, if it's fully work hardened and really hard, you might have to anneal. But you can test it. See how much give it has. It might be enough. If you had to size it down like 7 sizes, then you would have to anneal and repatina. But just a couple of sizes shouldn't be a problem, up or down. And that's really good. Did I mention that before? Yeah, if you go to craft fairs, leave the coins, your finished rings annealed. That way you can resize on the spot. And that allows you to make the sale much easier. If the person can pick out the rings, like, oh, I need it a little bit bigger, no problem. Just throw it on your machine, your ring stretcher, bring some other tools, sweet dies, and resize it for them right on the spot. So that works really good. But yeah, if you're using pure silver, pure gold, you'll want to leave that ring work hardened. That way they won't wear down as quickly. So let me just make sure I got everything. Yeah, I think that was it. So I'll put a couple links below for the Swedish dies, and yeah, there's some other videos, very detailed videos about the Swede die. If you want to look into my YouTube video library, there's probably over 60 videos on there now. So, but I go into more detail. But just wanted to make sure and get you guys that information on how to resize your coin rings, or at least how I do it. Feel free to experiment. Find your own method, your own way that you like. But this is what I like. And yeah, see you next time. I hope to get some more videos out soon. And I'm really excited. I want to do like a 3-part series on this next technique that I figured out how to do on the auto punch. It's really cool. And especially if you're making bells or pendants or earrings or anything with that stuff. So anyways, all right guys, thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.